Howdy, I'm Ty Nguyen, stand-up comedian, rapper, slash podcaster. Join me on my show, Wait, That Didn't Kill Me? Podcast, where I interview extremely creative people that took major risks to catapult them to where they are now, and we'll see where they're going. New episode every Wednesday, so tune in. Hey, what's up, world? Welcome to the Wait, That Didn't Kill Me podcast, where we interview creative individuals about the risk they took to make them who they are today. My name is Ty Nguyen. I'm the podcast host, along with my partner, CJ Robles. And today we have an extremely multi-talented individual in the house. This guy make music, he makes films, and he also does 3D modeling.
I'm like trying to get into it. I wouldn't say I do it.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to do it for sure.
I've been seeing your Instagram.
Yeah.
So our guest here today is Shelly Knicks. Yeah, I'm very glad to have you on here.
Thanks, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so this podcast is about taking creative risks. Mm-hmm. And I checked your Spotify. You have like 13 albums.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe some of those were singles.
Yeah, they're singles. Yeah. But I do got some albums on there.
Yeah. So is music your first passion?
I would say so. Yeah. Definitely was like, that's like the first thing I remember being like obsessed with, for sure. Rap music, of course, but I remember I had this really like weird obsession with the song "Beat It" by Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
and this was like before YouTube.
I can see that.
Yeah,
when you're young, your attention span to one thing is like way more.
Yeah.
Now when you're young, you can watch a movie over and over again. Yeah, so I can see that.
I'm kind of still like that, not with movies, but like with like
songs.
With songs, if I find a song I really like, I will like run that shit over and over and over for sure, man. I don't know what that does for me, but I don't know.
I think it kind of laid a foundation of influence. So you listen to like Beat It over and over, and you probably like memorize the beat.
Yeah. The guitar solo at the end, that used to do strange things to me as a child. That sounded kind of weird, but you know, especially when we're talking about Michael Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of artists with bad like history, recently P. Diddy. Do you think we should separate the artist from the art?
I think it's up to the individual, man. I don't think anybody. I don't think people should stop listening to P. Diddy music. That's not like the campaign I'm on, you know? Yeah. Because it's like, it's kind of almost impossible in a sense, like, because he's just been involved in so many different, and then there's tons of music out there for sure, but like,
when Spotify threatened to take R. Kelly music off, Kendrick was vocal about it. Much that he was like, you might as well take off my music. Yeah, I thought that's like I feel it from an artist standpoint, but I'm like, Kendrick, why are you writing for R. Kelly?
Out of all things that you want to be vocal about, you're like, shit, this is what I stand like. I think, that it's a weird thing. With R. Kelly, he's like the cancel culture boogeyman, you know what I'm saying? And like, it's hard to even mention his name in public, or, you know, or anytime, or like, or even to celebrate how great he is, because he's one of the greatest R&B artists ever, right? And but the thing is, though, he's locked up and he's like serving his time. He's been penalized, and so I think that at that point, you can really separate the artist from the monster at that point, because he's being served. It's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, he's in jail, and it's just like, Diddy, on the other hand, is still out here on boats and having parties and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little different in that sense, you know?
Well, his time might be coming.
I feel it. I feel it.
The only thing that can save him, if he haven't done anything bad in 10 years, the statute of limitations.
Yeah. He's got to chill.
Yeah. But I always felt like P. Diddy, he would take credit for a lot of stuff he doesn't really do. He seemed to me of more of a music producer in the sense of people that pay money for the beat or like pay money and tell them to make this rather than like sitting down on the MPC or the piano. Because if he does that, then he'll definitely brag about it.
I think you're right. I think he is more of like a facilitator, tastemaker position. And I think there is merit in that also, though, you know, just kind of like knowing what you want it to sound like and knowing what people you need.
Yeah.
But it's definitely way different than actually working with your hands and doing it yourself.
Yeah. I give him credit because one of my favorite albums is Victory Lap from Nipsey Hussle.
Okay.
Nice. He did play a role in helping kind of like with the sound of that album.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice. I would wonder how, like, it's kind of like with Rick Rubin.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if he plays any instruments or whatever, but I don't think he has any like technical knowledge of making music or anything like that. At least from what I heard, he's just like has great taste and knows what to tell people to make to bring the greatness out of them.
So he produced 99 Problems for Jay-Z.
Right.
And that's a sample beat for sure. So
really good song though.
Yeah. He's like, yo, you should rap over this sample. It's kind of funny, like when 99 Problem came out by Jay-Z, Nas made Make You Look. And it's like 2 track. It's kind of similar how it's like very heavy instrumental loop. So I thought that's kind of like, oh, Jay-Z's trying to outdo him.
Yeah, it might be true. Maybe in a subconscious way too.
Yeah.
You know,
like he probably told Rick Rubin, hey, I need something like this.
Yeah, I can think that. Shit.
Do you make your own beats?
I have made my own beats before. There's this like Christmas song I have called Shelly Knicks.
Yeah.
And I made that beat. And I've made like. So the answer is no. I don't make my own beats, but I have made my own beats few and far in between. But when I make beats, it's just like me and my machine chopping a sample and just throwing some drums on it and calling it a day. I'm not like really into the whole like mixing the sounds and you know, I don't really do all that. It's more for fun, honestly. Yeah. I've always worked closely with awesome producers though. So
does your parents in the beginning, did they support your music career?
Yeah, I would say so. They really just support anything that I've done, but I wasn't really like pursuing music until I was a little bit older to where they didn't really have a choice. I used to dance. I used to like break dance and I used to like pop locking and shit. And so like I used to do that a bunch. I guess I should have brought that up when you asked me, was music the first thing? I guess it really wasn't.
I was dancing was first.
Yeah, that's how I identified myself.
More sense why you like listen and beat it over and over. Yeah, you can dance to it.
Yeah. Like moonwalking and shit. But that was like the first thing, and they were really supportive in that, you know, they would, you know, give me rides to places and do all that shit. But then they got to the point where they're like, dance is not gonna make you any money and all that shit.
At what age did they tell you that? Like they told you?
I think that when I got to like 9th, 10th grade.
Okay.
And you know, me and we had a crew. We were taking it real seriously. That's when like America's Best Dance Crew was like really popular.
Yeah.
And I look back on it, and them saying that doesn't mean that they weren't supportive of it. You know, that was just kind of like the cold truth. And the fear, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the truth, you know.
Yeah, you're right. People do make money.
Make it,
yeah. I think, and it's kind of weird, the career of a dancer. I don't really know what that even looks like. Do you, like, what's the goal? Do you like, get on tour?
Yeah. So Beyonce.
Yeah, and I had no idea. Like, I had no like end game.
Kendrick no more backup dancer.
I would be one of his dancers like today.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. And they don't seem like they do anything like super crazy. You know what I'm saying? They just do like really cool
Oh yeah,
interpretive style dance. I guess I don't know.
That always reminds me of a scary movie where they go to the club or they go to the concert and they're saying, "Hey, we saw your girl with a backup dancer. At least security could get you backstage, but a backup dancer is just
yeah, you can't do that. They can't even hang out.
Yeah, you can't even hang out. At least security could get you backstage." That's for that quote.
It's like Lizzo's backup dancers. You see how they got it, you know?
Yeah. I don't know if that story still confused me.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, like it seemed like such a crazy story that it seemed like somebody made it up.
It does seem very made up.
Yeah, but it makes you think she have a dark side that she don't show people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She seems like very like cheerful and so like cheerful. Pro whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. I can definitely see anybody who's rich and famous fucking having some, you know, there were some things in there where allegedly she like made them perform sexual acts on other people or some shit, or made them watch or something like that.
A prostitute in Amsterdam or something like that.
Yeah.
Like eat a banana out of their vagina.
Yeah, I can totally see that shit. Yeah. Because rich people just be on some weird shit like that.
Can you imagine her telling you to do it and you actually like, I guess I have to.
And Lizzo being like the person telling you like, you gotta fucking do this shit or else. You know?
It gets me like, did you talk back? Were you like, okay, Lizzo? Oh, really? Take her flute and you know where to put it. What? Okay. Like it was like, I mean, you're right. They be on some shit.
I forgot she plays the flute.
So after you decided that dancing weren't gonna make you money, you started making music?
I was making music with my friends like at the same time. But
that makes sense.
It was like I was kind of like a dual. Saw myself like it's just like I don't know. I've always saw myself as this all around creative guy because I was even editing videos back then. That's how I started editing videos because of the dancing.
Yeah,
make dance videos and jerking videos.
Yeah,
that's how all that started. And so I always just kind of like did it all.
Yeah.
All that I could. All that was like symbiotic with each other, I guess.
Were you learning from the dance videos? Because when I was growing up, they always told us like, you want to learn breakdancing, you got to go to the VHSs. And I was like, VHS is what? And then I didn't understand that they were like follow what they do. So is that how you kind of learned too? You like follow the dances or?
I would like. I would just be trying to mimic things that I saw on like You Got Served and shit like that, you know. And this is like again, this is like before like YouTube was like super popular. I think it was there, but I would try to like, you know, look on YouTube and like watch videos on how to flare and how to windmill, but I could never really get it. I was just doing the simple you know, breakdance moves and trying to do these weird handstands and one hand handstands and shit.
Can you do the windmill?
I could probably do it now, to be honest with you. I could probably get a windmill off.
Nice.
Just because I kind of understand how the momentum is supposed to flow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know,
that's actually the
it's all
only
physics.
Move I know how to do.
It's hard. I think the flare is harder. The cheap one I did was the K kick.
The K kick?
If you can get the K kick down, it's like flashy. It's only one move. And it's when you do kind of like a handstand, but you kick your leg up in the air. It's
really,
I
know what you're talking about.
It's if you pull it off, it's great. If you don't, you hurt yourself. But it's one of those where it's like, okay, can you dance? You can't, but it's too obnoxious to like be like, oh, sure.
Let me bust it out real quick.
Yeah, you bust it out like, oh, you get a cake.
It's like at a wedding or some shit.
You pull out one time, and that's a good one. But man, breakdancing's hard.
The wedding is like a reunion for old school dance moves.
Yeah, man. You put on like Return of the Mac, everybody. Like, that's just wild, man. Yeah. Goddamn.
So, did you quit any job for your music career?
Indirectly, I would say. Never like directly, because music never really like. I never saw music as like taking up a lot of my time in my life.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. It never really seemed like a job. Never really seemed like something that was even important enough for me to quit my job. But I've quit tons of jobs just because of just I thought my time was too valuable.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just me kind of like being a young, egotistical, I get whatever,
I think
lazy.
That's a good mindset to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I found out like a lot of Gen Z, they don't like to work as hard as their parents did. They don't find the meaning. And they're kind of correct because they could figure out quicker and more creative ways to make money.
Absolutely.
So millennial are calling Gen Z lazy, but they just see things differently. Like they can see through the bullshit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Also, it's the technology's out there.
Yeah.
The YouTube, Vimeo, whatever you need. Your online school, it's there. You know, back in the day, you physically had to go places. Now you can get the information at home, and you're like, all right, we can do the things. I already know the thing.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's starting to challenge the Gen Zs, challenging the millennials, challenging the Gen X and all that. Because it's like you're doing everything like in the past. I think there's a certain point that you start carrying backwards.
And I think generally it's easier to make money nowadays, you know, especially in this generation. Not to say like it's just easier to make money in general, but I think that like you have things like drop shipping and just like the internet itself kind of just opened up so many opportunities to make money. But just work culture in general is just fucked up, man.
Yeah.
Just like what is expected out of the average person in exchange for how much they're paid is just kind of just fucked up all around, to be honest.
I think the 40-hour work week was the worst invention ever.
Yeah.
Ever,
Come on. People work more than that. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, it sucks, man. Like, you should be able to, everybody should have like, work-life balance easily. You know what I'm saying? That shouldn't even be a thing. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I don't know, man. It's kind of weird, and it's kind of weird to talk about right now because I've been like unemployed for quite a while, and before that I was just kind of like working from home, doing like minimal work for like, you know, for some decent pay. You know what I'm saying?
Customer service, how is that?
Oh, I was video editing podcast clips and shit. Like, doing, on some, but all I had to do was just watch the podcast, which was like, you know, 2 hours or some shit like that. And then make a couple clips for it. And that was my work day, you know,
That's
and
not
I was
a
getting,
bad job.
it was awesome. Of course, like media companies, you know, it's hard to run one of those. So the company's not really doing so well right now. That's the reason why I'm unemployed. But so I'm like in the process of like in the job hunt again. And I'm just like saying this like, oh, work culture sucks. And, you know, so it's kind of hard to.
Just finding a job is like a bad procedure. It's like a negative process. You have to fill an application, turn it in, and then wait. And if you really want the job, you have to call them to check up on your resume.
Yeah, you gotta like kiss ass. You gotta
kiss ass.
You gotta dress like you know you don't normally dress.
I think it hurts you in the sense that it hurts you and it helps you. Because I was telling Ty earlier, I was like, it's like they can gatekeep you easy. Like, let me look this person up on Facebook. Oh, I don't like them. I'm not gonna. You know, it's so simple. Or let me see their social media. Oh, they're a lot like me. Bring them in. It's like that. So that is to your defense and your offense. So it's how you figure out where your people are. That's what I'm looking at. Where are my people at? Where are the people that are gonna like help me, support me, or you know, where are the people that are not? So I know not to mess with them. So I know I go somewhere else and do it. But the media clips, I look at that as like nowadays, like, or I mean, back in the day, if somebody needed somebody to dig a shovel. And then you just gotta dig the shovel. So you go, because I can't dig the shovel. I gotta go do business. Right. A media company. I gotta go do business. Can you do the clips for me? I see it's the modern. It's just because technology. Gets us going.
You what was I gonna say? Oh, so when I've been applying for jobs lately, I'm so scared to like put that on black because they ask you on every application. I'm just like, fuck yeah, I'll put it on black because there's also like the
people put that white so they get the interview.
People do a lot of things. Like even like I was talking to my girlfriend yesterday because I've been talking to her about, you know, having trouble finding a job. And she was on Reddit, you know, and she said that people are like putting their address, like if you're applying for like a tech job in Austin. They're not putting their real address. They're putting that their address is in like San Francisco or some shit. And they're getting the job versus the person who says they live in Austin for the Austin job. It's crazy out here, man.
Yeah, I'm going through the same thing right now. I've been trying to get into my field and trying to do this stuff. And what you're saying, I'm going through like real conspiracy things. A lot of things are connecting in my head, and I'm like, this is messed up. But you're right, because also like with me, it's like you can't. I look like a mutt. I look like I'm anything. But it'll say like, what's your ethnicity? And you put white, and right away it's like Hispanic or Latino. I'm like, well, I guess, sure, I am. I don't know what that matters.
Yeah,
you put that, and it's like, I feel like that second question, or like right away, like, what kind of, are you Hispanic or what are you? And I'm like, what does it matter?
Yeah, and that's what I find weird in those, because I've gone through so many job applications in the past like week, and they've always been like this, but it's like they have this little like blurb about we are an equal opportunity employer. Yeah. But right after that, they ask you, are you white, black? You know what I'm saying? Like ask you for your ethnicity right after that. I don't really get that.
And that does play a big factor.
Yeah, because they're totally Why are they asking you? It's not for statistics. You know what I'm saying? They're asking you that because they want to know, and because it plays a part into who they're going to choose. I feel like I don't know.
And you know, you might be the person that meet their diversity quota. Yeah, I already met that they don't even need it anymore.
I know. I've definitely thought about like, damn, I could be the diversity hire.
Yeah. Or you can put that you're white. Imagine you put that you're white and you walk in and they just look at you. They can't be like, oh shit.
It's like, I identify as a white man.
Yeah. This is what I was gonna say. Like North Austin. I've been in Austin 20 years, so I'm a Southie, and I call myself Southie now because when I go to North Austin, it's like a different mindset. And I'm like, some people, I'm trying to write a joke about it, but it's hard. Where I'm like, it's like people are like, hey, we're the same color, but why isn't your shirt tucked into your underwear? And I'm like, well, I don't live here. What do I need a shirt tucked in my underwear? Because they're like, you need to think like us and talk like us. And I'm like, ever since I've been here, I get into it with people in North Austin all the time, and it's like because the mindset. So it's like,
I was just thinking about that today, about how different North Austin is from South Austin. Just at the gas station, like just now. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't anything in depth. I was just like, damn, it feels different. Yeah,
we're safe in Pflugerville.
Yeah, right. We got the Pflugerville Street General right here.
Nothing goes on without my approval.
Yeah. They gotta come check in.
Yeah. A dime is so in the park, I went in. What movie is that from?
I don't know.
It's a famous movie.
A dime sold in the park, I want in.
Yeah. He's telling somebody off. I know what you're talking about. He's telling somebody off. It's a dime sold in the park. I want it. That's not Goodfellas. That's
but he said everything: a dime, a neck. I went in. Yeah, he used several more examples.
Yeah, is it one of those mobster movies?
I feel like
it's like it's a casino.
And then they copy it on rap album, like on skits. And stuff. Yeah. So
could be Goodfellas. I don't know.
Yeah, could be Goodfellas. Yeah. So speaking of Goodfellas, how did you transition from music to making films? The first one you made was Pushy, correct?
Yeah.
Pushy is a very funny film about a guy, Jordan McDonald, trying to buy weed, and he just ran into all kind of obstacles trying to buy weed, and everybody that he sees around him is like a weird character that ended up later kind of like trolling him, and it felt like a lucid dream. I know you worked on that with Connor. So who wrote the script for that?
So the first time around, me and we both wrote it. So we sort of just like tossed the script back and forth. I think the first like session was us both in a room, sort of just figuring out what we were gonna say, and then after that, he of course he sent the file over to me. I fucking wrote out a scene, and then I'm like, hey, I'll send this back. What do you think about this? Yeah, and then so we kind of went back and forth with it for sure, which is. I think is cool to write it with someone, but with the second one, Bullet Theory. He just wrote it all himself. Just based off of an idea that we just kind of all discussed beforehand. And that seemed more like a more streamlined process. Because any successful operation sort of needs a separation of duties. But to answer your question, how to I transition into film, I think just being just being a video editor and just realizing like just thinking about the potential, what could be. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, talking with Colin and how he's into, his family's really into like cinema and, all that shit. So, we're always talking about movies. We go to see a lot of movies together. You ever been to the Paramount? Oh, you did a special at the Paramount. They do the summer film classic series there. Oh, yeah? Where they show classic movies there in the summertime. But yeah, I think it was just me thinking about the potential and, linking up with Colin and, us just figuring out what we could do together, in that sense.
So the film Pushy is about 19 minutes, the short film. Pushy.
19 minutes, yeah.
So we spoke to a lot of filmmakers on this podcast. And all the short film, they have to waste an enormous amount of money. It seemed like y'all did it without wasting money, right? Without doing a GoFundMe.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah, it seemed like everybody did it off of love, right? Like all the homies and stuff.
Yeah. And I think that, and dude, I think that is like the kind of edge that we have.
I think so. That's why you guys are making shit fast.
Yeah. And of course I gotta, thank you for being involved and everybody else. But it's just like, even aside from the talent, I went to a film festival like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. And all these people, like, I can just tell, and this is not to like sound pretentious or anything, but I can tell that they are different than us. They're not like us in a sense to where like one person is like a writer or one person is a director. So they have to go find their talent. They have to go find their editor. Yep. They have to go find their direct, they have to go pull in all these pieces. Whereas us, we have like, we're writing, directing, editing, you know what I'm saying? And rounding up all that. We're doing like 4 or 5 different jobs just between 2 people. Yeah. And then of course it helps a bunch that we have a bunch of homies who are good at what they do. Yeah. Who are just down to be involved with what we're doing and, trusting us with not wasting their time,
I feel like comedians are underrated actors.
Oh, yeah.
Like you want to make a film when you don't have a budget, you ask comedians, and most of the time they'll do it. Yeah. Yeah. The comedian, they enjoy kind of being in the spotlight.
Yeah. I think that that's something we definitely talked about. Like, we need to link up with some comedians just for that reason as well. And it's like, I think that like being funny is good acting also in a sense. You know what I'm saying? I feel like
good comedians are good actors.
Yeah, I think that a lot of that's like the trajectory of a comedian, right? You're a comedian.
Then you get a TV show.
You think about Martin Lawrence, Cat Williams, like Jamie Foxx, Eddie Murphy, anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like they're all like.
That's when the whole crew get put on.
Yeah. TV show. Right? Yeah. So of course it's a little different now because sitcoms aren't like, super popular nowadays. But
you know how when a rapper get put on, their whole crew get put on?
Yeah.
Eminem with D12, Nelly with the Saint Lunatics. Cameron with Dipset. Yeah, I think it's the same when like a comedian get their own show.
Yeah, all the homies,
One thing when I do go film, and I've noticed like I'll reach out to actors and whatnot. A comedian, I like reaching out to them easier than I do with an actor. An actor, I have to kind of give them a pitch or whatever. A comedian, I kind of go, and I'm an actor, but I'm learning comedy, so open micer. So what I noticed with comedians, if you even say, "Hey man, I see you on stage. Would you ever think about doing a movie?" Oh no. Oh, what you thinking about me? And you're like, yeah, I thought maybe you could do it. Well, let's talk. Then it's like a simple, like we're an actor. They might be like right away they make their decision. Or I noticed that a little bit quicker. They'll be more, or they'll be like, let me read your script. And so we're going with what days with this. And then with the comedian, it's always playful where it's like they want to know more. But they're like, you would think they'd say no and just move on with it. But they're like, well, you thought of me. And so I was like, and it's always like that. I'm like, comedians, you guys are like one step away from being an actor.
Straight up.
It's like, you're like right there. But also I do like I do like the. Oh, can you pick it up, please? Yeah, I do like the thing about the comedian on the set opposed to an actor as well. And there's, either way, it just depends on the people I've worked with. But I have noticed that if you have a raw comedian, they're easy to mold and blend and to tell them to do. Mm-hmm. Where an actor is already like, wait, this leads to what or what? Or you could have an actor that's just like, whatever, let's go. But I always know the comedian's more playful, more easier. Then when I say playful, I don't mean like funny. I mean like they're easy to be like, hey, when you walk in the door, just do this and do that. And you're like, okay, we're an actor.
Cool. Yeah, we're actors like, I know what I'm doing. I think that, of course, I think, I don't think, no disrespect to actors at all, actors, actresses. I think it's just maybe a little less fun for them just because it is what they do rather than a comedian. It might be like sort of like, maybe like sort of like new for them. So there's like more fun in it. Well, I mean, I think you're a different story because you've been in some short films. But it's like, I think for the most part, like even everybody else that we've had in Pushy besides Jordan and Daniel, they're like, they've never acted before. And so they were just like super down that, like you said, to be even considered. And on set, they're like, am I doing this right? You know what I'm saying? They had that kind of attitude. So it's really easy to work with that energy versus like someone who's like, doesn't even, I don't know. I feel like, if we tried to bring actors in that like weren't our homies, they would maybe wouldn't want to be there in the first place. I feel like.
I'll tell you this: even if they want to be there, they just kind of focus on the script. Where you, so your homies, you're like talking and be like, "Yo, dog, shut up!" Like, what? Just shut up. We're doing okay. Yeah, you can't really talk to an actor like that. You can't, you know. But I was gonna say, you brought up real quick. I was like, have you ever seen Jamie Foxx tell the story about he didn't say who it was. But he talks about he knew a comedian that got a little attention and made a little money and got a little spotlight. And Jamie Foxx goes to him and he goes, "Not now, man! I got the spotlight." No, I didn't know. I think it's Chappelle. Is he talking about? But he's trying to say how like even a comedians how to start because Jamie Foxx, the comedian, started off and now he's he actually more as like an actor comedian. Where Chappelle was a comedian actor kind of thing, and it's just funny. You see, I feel they're both the same, but yet even the way they talk with each other, I love it. It's like there's an interaction there.
Yeah, they're both incredible, honestly.
So while making Pushy, do you have any doubt about like the film coming out, or you have any doubts about it happening?
Dude, after we made it,
you got cold feet.
After it was done, we were like, well, I guess I'll start with like, you know, at the beginning of the process, you know, writing it, filming it, all that shit. That was like such a big rush, so exciting. Yeah. You know, the fact that like we have everybody up to the point where it was like finished, right? Mm-hmm. We're like, damn, this is dope that we have an actual movie, we have a product. And then time went by. Because we were waiting to see if we were gonna get it into South by. This was like in the fall. We finished it in the summer, and it was like me and Collins just hated it. We started to hate the movie, bro. Like we were like, get in. Well, no, even before we got the results, like even before they hit us back,
y'all kept watching it or what?
Yeah, we had to, right? Yeah, we had like 17 drafts of that shit, you know, and we almost just kind of pushed it to the side as like, okay, you know, this is our first one, so it's kind of shitty. You know, we just like had mad insecurity about it, and we thought that we were just being brutally honest about it. Yeah. It wasn't until, but then like, you know, I decided like this is, you know, we gotta have some sort of event. We have to screen this because, you know, people came and spent their time on this. You know, we have to like, you know, recognize these people publicly, and I thought this would be the right thing to do. Good thing we did because like that shit is what made me like appreciate it way more. Seeing other people watch it, and just seeing their. seeing their reaction to it, man. And just I was so nervous to show people because I didn't want people to I wanted people to take us seriously. You know what I'm saying? As like filmmakers, and that's exactly what happened, man. I can, you know, point out each detail that I hate about the movie all day, right?
Yeah.
But nobody else can, I guess, you know? And that's that weird thing. But it was really inspiring, man. And made me just appreciate it a lot more and take myself more seriously as a filmmaker, though, for sure.
Were you disappointed? Y'all disappointed because what you thought? Usually, it's like what you think of, what you write, and what you film is a different story. Was that happened to y'all? Were you kind of like what we thought and what we got at the end wasn't the same, or was the process of not what you thought it was?
I was more disappointed in like the story, right? And I think that it was different than it came out different than what we wrote or what we thought. Actually, that was like the biggest difference. Just because I thought it was just like too much going on. I was like, I hope people get this. I hope this makes sense. And I thought it was just too much to tie together. I thought we were just like kind of just writing away and not really thinking about like what a good story is. And we just thought like, you know, it'll sound funny if Ty says this. It'll be cool if Jordan does this. And, you know, it was just more of that rather than like, you know, beginning, middle, end, you know. But that's just the way I was thinking about it, though. Other people loved it and they picked up on the story and it all made sense. And that's just what I was hoping for. I didn't think people would laugh at all, to be honest. I was just like, damn, man. I knew they would laugh at Ty, though. I knew Ty. I was like, damn, Ty. And that was just the thing. I was just like, man, we were just so lucky to have you, because I thought for a minute, I was like, because Jordan's a good actor, Daniel's a good actor, but like you playing this like Oracle, you know, on the bus, it was just like, I like the relief of the movie. I felt like, you know, so.
I was on where can I see Bushy? I want to see Ty in action.
Hell yeah! If y'all have time, man, I want to show y'all Bullet. You've seen Bullet Theory, right?
I've seen Bullet.
Okay,
you should watch Bullet.
Okay,
that's Bullet Theory is the one.
Yeah. So Bullet Theory is after Pushy.
Yeah, that's our second one.
Okay, so the first one, what you learned from the first one, you brought into the second one, or did y'all repeat the same steps from what you did the first time?
We did not repeat the same steps because, of course, Colin wrote this by himself. But Bullet Theory was like I had a idea for a series that for a door-to-door salesman, and each episode was a different door for the door-to-door salesman. And I filmed one episode of that, or I guess a pitch, pilot, whatever the hell you want to call it. And just kind of like left it alone for years. And then when me and Colin started making films, I was like, hey, let's just, I want to make this a film instead of a series. And then I brought in my homie Chance, who was an actual door-to-door salesman, talked to him a lot about like,
the experience. Yeah,
the experience and what happens in, you know, in training and things like that. And he just had so much to throw at us, you know. So I brought Chance over to Colin's crib and we all talked about like, you know, what actually wrote down ideas. And then after that, Colin just kind of took it away and wrote it himself. So that was one difference. One person wrote it. And it was just a whole different approach. It's not like just like a weed story. But
who directed?
Colin directs. He's the one that says action and, you know, takes initiative to tell actors, you know, what he wants. I think we co-direct in a sense, but Colin, I would say, is the director for sure.
It works easier when you have at least one mind, one thing. I think so. I mean, if you can have a cumulative at first, but it takes somebody to get you there, or two people that work well together, or maybe three, whatever group. But if you do the committee thing a lot, it does lose its original point of view or where you're going. But if Colin's like, then it could be. I mean, you could co-direct, you could co-write everything, but when it comes to day filming, there's like always like someone that people will listen to a little bit. It just depends, like because they know the story better, or but you know, it just depends. But that's cool that you guys are, when you move from your first movie to your next movie, you're bringing something new. Yeah,
sometimes you just gotta let people kind of do what they do. You know what I'm saying? And he's like owning the position of as a director, so I have to like, you know, take my hands off a little bit and let him do his thing. Whereas if we're trying to like fight over it and we're kind of like step on each other's toes, that can just turn into a lot of bullshit, you know. Yeah. And also, I don't really like having too many heads on one idea. Like you just said, it's like, you know, that shit will just kind of mess things up, and like too many opinions, too much input. Yeah, that just kind of, I think that makes the idea like stagnant. You know, you can't really go anywhere with that.
What you said too right now with taking the initiative, like that's happened to me where I started directing more because as an actor I was like, you guys don't get it. Like this is what you got to do, and then nobody would, or film classes or workshops, and I'd be like, all right, I'll direct. Here, this is this, without me knowing that I was directing. I was just like, it feels better if we do this. Yeah, so little things like that will step up, and you'll do it. I mean, you have him as a guru or something on a bus, or that's like I mean, you went right into that role.
Yeah, dude. Oh man, Ty is basically like the main character doesn't have a car, right? So he has to like take the bus everywhere, and the weed man's like kind of just jerking his chain all day, and it's just like, okay, I'm here. Actually, you took too long. I'm over here, and he has to keep taking the bus around town. And every time he gets on the bus, Ty is there, and he's getting on different buses, and Ty's always there. So it's almost like a figment of his imagination almost. Yeah. He has this gold suit on. It's the craziest shit ever.
So was that role, it was already written. So then when Ty got it, he got that role? Or did y'all see Ty be like, we just adjusted a little bit? Or was it?
I think that it was like during the writing process where we're like, we got to get Ty for this part, but we already wanted to though. We wanted him involved regardless, and so that just seemed like the fitting role for Ty for sure.
Yeah, not to be too much, but I was like, because once you start connecting it, that you write the role more for him, adaptable for him, or the character you do, and it's easier. It's supposed to be, I need you to make this character, when we're supposed to be like, this is you, so let's now make it a character.
Yeah. I think that once you decide that who the character is going to be, you can just kind of hear the person saying the lines, you know, so that kind of has an effect on when you're writing them as well, for sure.
Dude, imagine on the bus we took just to film those scenes. We took mad buses, and it's like a bunch of noise, like
so rattly.
Yeah.
I got a question about that. Y'all use the Austin bus, the city bus?
Cap Metro. Yeah.
Nobody cares.
We thought that it would be much harder.
But nobody cares.
Oh man, I would have had field day. I would have just got all B-roll and then just gone back and put the voiceover like later. So way you could get. I didn't realize you could do that,
dude. And they honestly, the first bus driver didn't even check our bus tickets. She was just like, just come on the bus.
That's a cool bus driver.
Yeah. So I think we ran into trouble with like maybe like the last bus driver, maybe the second or third one. And she kind of just said something back there. She said something to us. We didn't really hear it, but
she said, y'all never make it.
Yeah. Y'all ain't ever going to be shit.
Okay, 250. When I first moved to Austin, there were 6 months where I didn't have my truck wasn't working, so I had to take the bus. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, man, this is before the iPod came, was like a thing. So a lot of times I would lose like my battery died, my MP3 or whatever. So I just have the headphones on, and I'd be on the bus. Inside of a vehicle, I'm a writer. I like to sit down and observe. So I'd get on that bus for 2 hours and go around, but I have the headphones on, so nobody mess with me, and I could just listen to the conversations going on. And I'm like, I don't think anybody will ever believe me when I write this stuff back, because this is some crazy stuff. I mean, it was just the bus alone in metro cities. They have so much. I don't know. There's just so much going on. Like, it's not just a bus ride from here to there. So I'm pretty sure this movie has its own little because you took it on the actual bus, so you're getting real slice of life. Yeah, you're getting real pieces of there. There's probably things in the background that you captured that you didn't know that probably won't be there in 10 years.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's pretty cool.
We got like some B-roll of like regular people sitting on the bus. There was like a guy on the bus that just wanted to get involved, gave us like a nice little facial expression. It was just amazing how supportive everybody was on the bus, from the people on the bus to the bus driver. It was just hot as fuck though.
It was hot.
Yeah, it was so hot that day.
Yeah, I've had when we were filming one time outside. I guess we were outside my house, but like the house next door. I've been at my house forever. Not my neighbor. One of the neighbors on the street never says hi to me or talk. I don't care, whatever. You're just a neighbor. But as soon as I pulled out a green screen to kind of get a little part in the front, he saw that. He was like taking his kids on a bike, like a tandem bike. He just kept circling us. I was like, he looked like a mini version of The Rock. And I remember being like, what's up? Oh yeah, just saw what you're. If you need anything, just if you guys are filming, huh? If you need a guy that's like, I don't know, buff, I can put the kids inside. And I was like, nah, I'll think about. I don't know, dude. But it's crazy once you bring that camera out, like people's like they change. Man.
Yeah. People get curious. It's pretty cool.
We spoke to two filmmakers who gone through the submission process for short film.
Oh yeah,
and their film didn't get in because their film was like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So this next one, Bullet Theory, you guys are making it 10 minutes.
Bullet Theory is 12 minutes.
12 minutes.
Yeah.
Is that for the festival submission?
Because
the two filmmakers I talked to, they're making the next film 10 minutes for the submissions.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why Pushy didn't really get into any festivals. Like, it got like 2 honorable mentions.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just too long. And I went to the film festival I went to recently. They were showing films in 4s. Mm. And
so each one's like 12 minutes, huh?
Yeah. They don't want like no 20-minute.
But they should have put that on the submission, though.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's what's crazy.
It's a money grab.
Yeah. I think, and I talked to Colin about this, and on the South by Southwest submission.
Oh, you should make a film about that. Like festival submission money grab, and then submit it to them, so they'll watch it and like, damn, we do that.
Dude, there's some scammy festivals out there, man.
Of course.
It's so crazy.
Yeah, because why would you say short film submission up to 45 minutes?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, man. It's like, why would you do that?
Yeah, so the two filmmakers we talked to, they have good body of work, very professional,
nice,
well done. But they didn't get into festival because of the name.
Damn, man. I think it's more for like
spent a lot of money on it too.
I think for like it's more like for like people who got some clout, like famous people.
Yeah.
Like if I don't know, Richard Linklater or some shit. I don't know, somebody.
Exactly. Yeah, they could put that on their flyer.
It makes more sense. I think we just said because I've been entering film festivals since the early 2000s, and I'm like I never questioned the 45 minutes. It's been around forever, right?
Yeah.
But I did see a film festival here in Austin, or it was in San Marcos or here, but they had got Brian Cox. He's he's famous. He's an older gentleman. The best one I can remember is X-Men 2. He's Stryker. So they got him in the movie. And I realized it was a lot longer because it was Brian Cox. We wanted, and he literally was just like in a flat in New York and just kind of talking shit to his neighbors on top and then just gardening. But like, it was funny. It was just a funny little movie of him. But I realized it was long, and we keep talking about it. I'm like, I remember I've seen a long movie that did well. It wasn't 45 minutes, but I remember being like, wow, this is. But I'm like, but if you get an idol or someone, people will watch.
Yeah,
you had Christopher Walken like just doing Fatboy Slim for 40 minutes. People would watch it, dude.
You wonder if you could get like a scenario lookalike and have him do the voice. Just have a cameo and you pretend that it's them. Now you get sued for that.
You could, yeah.
I mean, it'd be like real AI. It'd be analog AI.
Yeah.
I think some people would appreciate it. I'm all into like just fooling the fans.
Yeah. Like they make a whole movie with like A-list actors and actresses, and none of those were them, but just lookalike that are really good at that. That would actually be good.
Yeah, it would be dope. And all you would have to do, I feel like, is spell their names like different.
Yeah. Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Just put Brad S. Pitt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe, you could do
Tom Shanks.
I think it'd be harder to find the lookalikes than to get away with it. It'd be easier to get away with it. It'd be kind of hard to find.
There's a lot of deepfakes though that are like they have the structure of the celebrity's face and maybe like a little bit, but they'll just tweak it a little bit. Like I feel like an idiot on YouTube. I follow this guy called the DiCaprio. He looks like Leonardo DiCaprio, and it's like, but it does look like him. But then as soon as he pans out, he's like a short guy or whatever because Leonardo's all tall. Yeah. But they have like fake Robbie Margot in there, and they like hang out all day. And I'm like, they took like the Wolf of Wall Street characters and they just play with. Because they look like them. So this might be something new too.
Oh yeah.
We could.
Rise of the lookalike. It's like that movie by what's his name? Is it called Us? Would they have like their doppelganger? They have to kill him.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen Us.
You never seen Us?
No, I've never seen Us.
Dude, it's a masterpiece.
That's good.
Yeah, this girl tried to take my black card for not seeing it.
I was like, how is Jordan Peele gonna top Get Out?
Yeah,
and that's not Us. And it's like a completely different horror film, but it's pretty frightening.
Have to watch it.
Have you seen Nope?
Yeah, I seen most of Nope. I didn't really like it. I like Daniel Kaluuya. I love Keke Palmer. I love them on screen together, and I love the freaky shit that happens in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I just I'm not really into stories about aliens. I didn't really know it was about aliens at first. And I don't know, but I did see the movie Alien for the first time recently.
Me too, in the theater.
Yeah.
Because for the anniversary.
What y'all saw? What'd you think?
Dude, I love it.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's like one of those movies where they don't show the alien much. It's just like scary stuff. Like you just anticipating based on the sound, and you don't know where the alien is on the ship.
Yeah.
And the crew is betraying each other. To me, that's a good movie.
It's kind of like Jaws in space, where Jaws, they wanted you to see the shark, but Bruce the shark didn't. They had like 6 of them, never worked. Yeah. So then they just had the deadline was hitting, and they had to start filming. So first they shot all the scenes without the shark, and then when they got the shark back, it was still crap. So they would just start using just cinema editing to see, and it was more the audio. So Alien, I don't think they had issues, but that was the idea behind it. Like, we're gonna let you scared. I have that poster. I have that huge poster of Alien poster at my house. I love that movie.
I didn't know like sci-fi horror was a thing.
Oh yeah,
and that shit is dope, man.
Yeah, after I saw Alien, I watched Aliens. The sequel of Aliens with
James Cameron.
It's like a full action movie,
dude.
So I couldn't even compare it to the first one because it's a whole different genre. It's not that scary, but it's more action packed.
Yeah, and I think that's like what Alien versus Predator and all that shit sort of leans more to as well.
I was watching Starship Trooper. So it's like Aliens give me that vibe to where it's not scary, so I couldn't put it in a horror section.
It puts those movies there. That's where they come from. So Starship Troopers comes from Aliens. You got. I mean, I grew up on these movies. So Alien 3 is where you kind of get that back to the isolation with the alien, but in a different environment. So you're right. Like, what do you call it? Alien First is just a great masterpiece, and Aliens is completely different. The reason I said Nope was because when you watch Get Out, Us, and then Nope, when you see Jordan Peele's 3 movies already, like, I'm like, Get Out is personal. I'm like, all right, I get this. Us is a horror like movie.
Yeah.
Nope. It's too many things, man. It's a sci-fi. It's a western. It's an action movie. It's a thriller. It's suspense. It's a horror. It's a lot of things.
They're paying homage to the old school horror film.
So it makes all that. So when you start, remember you were saying like Starship Troopers, I was like, dude, like I just love that movie. My favorite part is when Casper Van Dien, the main guy, when he says, because I'm Hispanic, and he says, they go, what do you think about the bugs? He goes, I'm from Buenos Aires, and I say kill them all. I remember like Buenos Aires,
Aries.
Oh, Buenos Aires. That stuck in my head. But that movie's awesome. Doogie Howser, Neil Patrick Harris is in it. Nice. Like that movie's got like it's got a lot of its own homages because it's a sci-fi classic. But even like they're going into now like are you into horror movies? I know Ty watches movies.
I'm not too into horror.
What's your genre?
Black movies. No, I'm joking. Probably like comedy, action, I would say.
Dude, have you seen Snow on the Bluff?
Oh yeah.
You seen that? You haven't seen it?
No.
Dude, that's one of the best films I've seen.
What are they called? What's the genre of the movie where the person holding the camera makes the movie? There's a name for it.
They make it seem like it's like from
first
camera perspective, like a handheld camera perspective.
It's first person perspective, but you call it POV. You call it
POV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude,
Snow on the Bluff is wild.
This is wild.
Yeah.
Dude, I could not stop watching it. Even though some scene I could tell that they're acting, but through most of the movie, it's so raw. Like this guy documented his mind.
What's it called again?
Snow on the Bluff.
It's amazing.
I haven't seen any other movies like it.
Well, so before I seen Snow on the Bluff, there was something on. They're both on. I think Snow on the Bluff is on Netflix. Was on Netflix at least. But there was one called Gang Tapes.
Gang Tapes?
Yeah. And it's like a West Coast version of it. It's guys like in California.
I'm gonna check that out.
Dude, it's pretty crazy. They gotta like, it is so funny, and you can tell more on that one that they're acting because they're pretty extreme. But
like exaggeration.
Yeah, but it does really depict the gang lifestyle, I guess.
Gang Tapes from 2001.
Gang Tapes.
Yeah. When a brutal carjacking yields a video camera, a teenage boy decides to document his life and the lives of his fellow gangsters. This sounds pretty gangbangers. This sounds pretty cool.
I'm gonna check this out,
dude. It's just like Snow on the Bluff. Snow on the Bluff is like the Atlanta version, though, and it's from the point of view of a grown man. But this is like a kid. Almost who's the people around him are gang members and he's like trying to get down. And it's pretty good, man. They have a freestyle session on there. Oh my god, it's the best shit ever, dude.
Dude, we need to make one for Pflugerville. That's follow me around. And we just make up like fake scenario and stuff.
I want to make a mockumentary.
Dude, you should do it. If you want to do it on me in Pflugerville, I'll be down.
Yeah,
because I don't have a job right now, so
you can. You can like
just have like
we got a cast
a cul-de-sac.
Yeah. We can get some gang members.
I get some gang members.
I already thought about this.
Like somebody trying to steal my dog and shit.
It could be like Trailer Park Boys. But like the gangster Pflugerville version.
Well, I just like the handheld aspect of it.
It's actually the one I was thinking about a long time ago was when you hit the Pflugerville anthem. I was like, we'll just call it "I'm from Pflugerville, bitch." Instead with an I, just put an exclamation mark. We'll get rid of the I so it doesn't beat it, whatever. But you're talking. And also, I do have a question for you, Shelly, because it's something I never even thought about with the other filmmakers, and you've kind of touched a little bit today. Is like, do you consider yourself a black filmmaker or a filmmaker? Because for a long time, I was always like, I'm just a filmmaker. It doesn't have to do with anything with Hispanic or Latino. But as I've been in this city, which I would say is diverse, which I don't really feel it, I'll say that I've had to go more towards my Latin roots, more towards minority roots, just to kind of be more like, this is who I am. I'm not going to wash things down. Do you feel like that's like a pressure or something? At first, it used to be a joke for me, but now when I think about it, I'm like, I think about things I missed out on. I think about other castings. I'm like, wait a minute, this is adding up to me. Do you feel like that's a pressure, or do you feel like it's more of a?
Do I think it's a pressure to identify myself as a black filmmaker?
Yeah, or do you think you're just like, I don't care, or what do you feel like it?
I think I don't like. Of course, I don't have a choice to. It was before I wasn't even considering myself a filmmaker. I'm just now getting comfortable calling myself a filmmaker. But yeah, I identify as a black filmmaker. I don't feel any like pressure to do so. I mean, obviously I work alongside of a white dude, right? A white filmmaker, I guess, so to say. So I don't really like, I'm not like super like touchy when it comes to things like that. I do in the future want to make a quote unquote like black movie, all like black ideas. Yeah, I guess black movie, like just the idea, all the ideology of the movie comes from like being like blackness, being black, the influence is from being black, know, and that's not to say
black perspective.
And not to say that we're gonna have like, police brutality and people getting like, like it's not like gonna come from that perspective.
Like the
but
inner dialogue would be from a black person.
Yes, exactly.
This is what
they did that with Spider-Man.
Really?
Miles Morales.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have an issue here. I tried to ask, is he Latino or black? And the black stumbled me right away. Like, he's black.
He's both. He's both.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Like his dad was black.
Yeah.
His mom was like
Dominican.
Dominican.
Yeah. But the thing is also because a lot of other black or pigmentation people will say, well, that's Black Spider-Man. I'm like, wait a minute. First of all, don't need to call him that. Like, hey, he's got a name. But I'm like, what? He's Latino Spider-Man. They're like, what? No. And then like, my black friends in my neighborhood, where I'm like, I brought it up and I was like, wait a minute, what is he? And they're like, no. It's the way the father's black and he's black. And I was like, all right. And the reason I'm sorry, I got a sidetracked a little bit. I did have something around that topic you were saying, but because what you were saying about what kind of movie, I'm an open micer. I'm not enough to say I'm a comedian, but I'm striving to do that. But I have noticed as a filmmaker, and I've been doing this since I was a kid, and coming back to filmmaking, because I'm learning other aspects of the whole gamut of all this, I started wondering, like, how come is it whenever I write myself in a movie, I have to write myself either in a sci-fi movie where I'm in the future or it doesn't exist, far, far away, or I got to write myself in a horror movie and I have to die. Or, you know, why is the brown minority black character? Why are we still doing this? Like, why can't I just be Bill, whose real name was William or Guillermo, went to Bill? Why can't I just be a dude from the suburbs that had they don't do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, we don't like, we look at the suburbs, like, there's a bunch of like colored people in the suburbs that act like suburbs.
Absolutely.
North Austin, that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
But like, if you don't act like that, then they really don't want to perceive you like that. But you get like these movies that you just told me right now, I'm going to go watch them, and they are more black. Culture that, so I'm more like, why never heard of these things? It's from 2001. I was in high school in 2001. How come? Because I'm like, that idea sounds really cool. That concept. Just reading the synopsis, and I'm just like, why? Because you don't want people to see them. You don't want what is? We have to stay a stereotype. Is that what it is? Or
it's kind of tough because you can't really. It's the way people look at minorities is just how we've been. I don't know if we were depicted this way and that's just the idea that people stuck to, or if most of us are the depiction and that's like what is driving the idea of it. But I think that it's like it's weird that, you know, colored people, minorities are always just coming from this like position of like it's always like maybe like a rags to riches story, or like something so like controversial or sad or dark, you know what I'm saying? Like that's why people hate on Tyler Perry, because he's always using black trauma, you know, for his content. But it's just like you can't really fault Tyler Perry for that though, because one, like, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen a Tyler Perry movie like that where Medea was a character that is based off of a real person, you know. But then you got like there was like a white director who made a black movie.
Friday, Spike Jonze?
No, that was F. Gary Gray, I want to say, who made Friday. I can't think of it right now, man. I don't know if it was like.
You made Friday, you're a legend, no matter what race you are.
I think it was Friday.
Yeah.
Oh,
but then Ice Cube wrote the script though for Friday.
I'm pretty sure Ice Cube wrote that. Yeah.
No, you're right. It's Gary Gray.
Yeah.
Ice Cube wrote it. If I remember, it's the other one. I think it's Spike Jonze was the writer of that one. I know what you're talking about though.
Yeah. It's a tough. I don't know. I think I don't feel pressure to address myself as a black filmmaker, because I think it's just obvious, and I take pride in being black, of course, and being a filmmaker. So it kind of just all falls together. I do feel pressured to make, you know, something that is influenced from black culture for sure, though.
Yeah, because even like that, I think I was having a conversation about a year ago with a friend from New York, and she's black Latina, and we were talking, and I said a joke, and she got offended, but I was like, they don't. I said basically like, well, they don't allow minorities on film sets, so how are we gonna learn? How are we gonna grow? And then she was like, oh, well, wait, that's true. I go, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to pushing it, but I just over all these times and thinking about it, I have you right here have questions. I'm like, is it, if you don't feel like you have to, you're just doing the job, then you're just doing your job, you know? It really does get, I don't know, just small talk, I guess. I feel like when they have to label you as something, it's always something simple. I'm always like, they're more than that. People are more than that.
Yeah. So, and I think people always want to latch a story onto something, whether they know the story or not. I feel like you're more likely to get grants, or more likely to get into festivals if you approach it like, I'm a black filmmaker, I am a minority filmmaker, you know, versus just like not saying that. You know, I feel like people I don't know, I think it is something you can use, I guess, and sort of like you manipulate, I guess, but Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird topic for sure.
Crutch. Like I feel like, and I don't want to use it, but it's just like people. I don't know. It's weird to me. But as I'm talking to you and you tell these stories, I'm like, oh my god, they're like, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's like right in my head. I'm like, damn. But yeah.
I mean, it'll be funny if you're white and you'd be like, I'm a vanilla filmmaker.
Yeah.
But I'm a filmmaker.
Me and Colin were gonna call ourselves. We were gonna like label ourselves like one of those like Jewish filmmaker names, like the Wachowski brothers and like the Coen brothers.
Yeah, so
and
then
then
make up a fake name.
Yeah.
The Wachowski sisters just make
right. Sorry.
You gotta kind of check things here and there, but yeah, the Wachowski sisters. Don't cancel it.
and then we get on like stage to talk about our film, and it's just like a black dude and some white dude. You know, not some white dude, of course. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do Colin like that. But a black dude and a white dude.
The joke, but you're saying, but you're the Jew in the whole joke. You're the Jew,
right? Yeah. I'm actually the Jew. I don't know. One thing I wanted to bring up. You say you saw Alien in theaters, right?
Yeah.
Did you see the conversation between Ridley Scott and the other? Did they show that before?
Yeah, they did.
Dude, they showed a part where Ridley Scott said he used his kids to make the set look bigger. So you know when they land the ship and then they go look for the alien, right?
Yeah.
And they're walking to wherever they're going to. There's a part where they walk through this like place, and it's instead of the actual characters, it's kids. It's Ridley Scott's kids to make the set look way bigger.
Dude, that's smart.
It's pretty crazy. Just little shit like that. It's so interesting, man.
Yeah, matte painting background. So it's like basically green screen nowadays.
Yeah. Some director, they use like a model.
Yeah.
Like they would like zoom in on the place than the actor, but when they zoom out to make the place look bigger, it'll be like a built model. Like a toy model. But
of the set?
Yeah, for the set.
Okay.
The Star Wars, the Death Star at the beginning, when it goes, that's a model.
Yeah.
And they just have cameras going around it real slow, capturing all the detail.
It's like with AI, they'll be able to make like the background quicker, I think.
Dude, I've been trying. Alien influenced me to try to make a sci-fi movie, dude, because it all seems like so far-fetched and so intangible when you watch these movies because they look so crazy. But like, all you need is a spaceship studio.
Yeah.
They have those like in California and shit. You can rent out a spaceship, like an inside of a spaceship. They have a weapons room in it and everything.
Oh, nice.
But then, aside from that, you can use. I've been getting into the 3D modeling.
Yeah.
And you could just make a ship. In 3D like in the software. And use those, like make those scenes. In the program, and then shoot everything in the ship. Oh, that's all you need. It's so, I don't know. I think
you could shoot like an alien handheld movie. Like from a guy doing weed, he got abducted by aliens on that spaceship.
Dude, like a paranormal activity, but like not ghosts.
Not
aliens.
Aliens, but he actually get abducted.
Yeah.
They trying to, what do aliens do once they abduct you? They
probe you.
Yeah, they probe you. Like there's so many stories of people saying they get abducted by aliens.
What does probe mean? Oh, like they, okay. Yeah.
Like, it's kind of crazy. I don't know if I should trust people to say that they got abducted by aliens.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going for it.
Yeah, but there's so many accounts. There's so many accounts.
A lot of them are in the forest.
And
then the forest after they've been doing meth or drinking.
Yeah, I'm about to
say. It's a great story, but 3D. What software are you using? Blender. Okay, it's free. That's an awesome one to use.
So cool.
It adapts well with After Effects. You can use it in Premiere. It's really good to adapt. I was gonna say because there's a certain point with 3D modeling where if you wanted to like do a statue back in the day, you'd make a statue. Now just with lighting and shading, you can make a fake statue in the computer, and you can pretend that's next to you.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, as long as if you light it the right way and you get the right texture. You can do that shit. Like I remember I watched this Bill Murray movie. It's called like Life. It's like
Life Aquatic?
Yeah. And they kind of mixed in. There was that like the sea animals, like the whales and shit.
The ship under sea stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if they were like 3D models because that movie was made like in early 2000s. But even the seahorse was in the bag was fake, and I don't know. It's just kind of like it's kind of cool.
It inspires you then, and you really think you see something, and then you realize I want to do that, or I want to replicate that, or what is that?
I see things, and I think like I could probably do that. Cool. And what I've learned in the past few years of just being a creative, a lot of things are more tangible than they seem. And that's just kind of how I've been approaching shit lately. Just kind of like looking at things and like, I wonder how they did that, and can I do it? Am I capable? Or do I have the people around me that can do it? I don't know. It's just like I'm kind of like just hype on just like conquering things now, you know, just like doing it just to say I did
it. You're also working on a new film called Pacino.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Is that one you're working with Colin too?
So not right now. I told the story switched up like twice. We've restructured the story twice.
Yeah.
And I just woke up one day and I'm just like, man, Tall Kyle would make a really cool pizza guy.
Yeah.
And so I just started like kind of thinking on that, and I was talking to my friend Frank, who knows Kyle really well.
Yeah.
And we just start getting drunk and just like talking out this whole movie. You know? And so it kind of like took off just without Colin, but I do like want to find a place where Colin can contribute.
Yeah.
Because it would be kind of weird doing it without him. It would feel a little weird. But only if he likes it though, if he wants to be involved. Because I'm gonna act on it regardless. But Pacino's is gonna be really cool, man.
Yeah, I think so. I like the plot.
Dude, you want to know the plot of Pacino's? All right. So. Tall Kyle, he's like tall. He looks like white. He looks like white Jesus. Long hair. Just he looks like Jesus. Him and Ty are brothers. They're stepbrothers, and they're from Canada. And we're thinking about making them adopted by a black family, just to make it even more wild. But so they're stepbrothers, and all this is happening off screen. They moved to America, and then for some reason Ty gets arrested, and this is not shown in the movie at all. Ty gets arrested, and he's in jail. They got to get a court date. People sit in jail forever before they get court dates. Whatever. He's at risk of being deported, right? Because they're from Canada. And so Kyle, he works at a pizza place called Pacino's, and he needs to find a way to get a lawyer because he's a pizza guy. He doesn't have any money to get his brother out of jail and from being deported. So he has a regular pizza buyer. He's always buying pizza. He's a regular, and he's a lawyer. He's like the TV commercial lawyer, like Wayne Wright.
555.
Yeah. And so the movie starts out with him delivering pizza to the Wayne Wright guy, whoever that's going to be. We got to make a commercial for him and everything. It's going to be so funny. And then he's like, yo, you got to help me. I know you're a lawyer. I got to get my brother out of jail. He tells him the whole thing. And then he's like, nah, I'm not really, this is not my kind of case. And he's like, yo, but we just signed like a record deal. We signed, and he has like the contract in his hand. He's like, look how much money they're going to give us and whatever. And the slimy lawyer's like, I could get, a piece of that. He's trying to get a piece of the pie. And so he's like, all right, cool. One of my clients paid me in cocaine, a bunch of cocaine, right? Because they got criminal clients, right? And we're gonna call the drug something different. I think we're not gonna call it coke, but it's gonna just resemble coke. He's like, if you can move this for me, bring me back my money, I'll help you get your stepbrother out of jail. And Kyle's like, I guess whatever. That he's desperate, so he's like, all right, let's do it. And then he's like, not a drug dealer, right? He doesn't know how to move cocaine, so he's like, and mind you, this is a very goofy movie. It's almost like a stoner movie without the weed. He basically makes a new menu item to move the drugs, and people will order this menu item, and that's how they get it. And it's kind of weird at first.
That's actually a real thing that used to be in the past, that you order a pizza with double anchovy. It mean that you want sex or some stuff.
Oh shit. Okay, so so it works. Okay, and so people catch on, and he starts, selling the shit, and I think he calls Ty twice throughout this whole montage. It's like a montage of him like exchanging pizza, people throwing away the pizza, keeping the drugs, all this shit. People snorting it, just quick stuff. And Kyle's gonna be narrating this the whole time too, to make it go by a little quicker. He sells all of it. He has the money, and calls Ty. He's like, "Yo, we did it. I'm gonna get you out." All this shit, and he's walking. They hang up. Kyle walks up to the door of the lawyer's office, about to give him his money and go through the process. And right when he gets to the door, he gets like swarmed by cops. He gets apprehended. And then the lawyer is like in his window, like with like an evil smile. So basically, the lawyer is used Kyle as the fall guy to get his other client off, pretty much. And then Kyle goes to jail, and then Ty's charges get dropped. So then he gets out, but then like his album flops or something, the record deal doesn't work out, so he ends up working at the pizza place trying to get Kyle out of jail. And that's pretty much
That's a good answer,
dude. I think it'd be cool.
I feel just to give you I don't know advice or anything, but I feel is it the short movie you're making? What the movie you just said? Well, we'll go back and play back. There's your movie right there, bro. Like the timing and everything.
And you can show Kyle in the cell just writing rhymes. Like fuck my cousin or whatever.
Stepbrother.
Yeah, fuck my stepbrother.
Exactly. The diss track.
It sounds a little similar to this idea. I've been telling Ty for like 2 years, been trying to work on this thing called and it's crazy because when Ty started doing the stand up here at his house, I started thinking of this idea. I met Ty through acting class. So nice. That Fallout. So we were just. So I was like, I used to come hang out with him and stuff. And as soon as I got here was like a St. Patty's Day, like 2 or 3 years ago, and we came to start doing the clubs and doing the sets. And the movie the set is gonna be called Golden Sunrise, and that's the address.
The name of the street.
And I was like, okay, I gotta keep following this because I just made that up. Like it's because I'll tell you the premise more.
Oh, that was a coincidence.
Yeah, it was a coincidence. Oh, wow. I didn't even know. Like I didn't know because I go, what's the address to this thing? And he sent to me. I was like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Like what is that? I was like, is he looking through my stuff? And I was like, no, but I mean, literally within like a week of like, I need it because when I do a project, I have to have a title. I don't care if it's the final title. I need because I need the file label and everything. And with this idea, I just kept putting ideas in a box, put it in a hole, and I realized I was like, oh, I don't have a name. And I started looking at everything. There's a menu in my thing. It's like a kind of thing. And I was like, what's Golden Sunrise? It's a Chinese restaurant. But that goes with it. I'll keep it there. And I didn't realize that my Vietnamese friend was going to be like, hey, let's come hang out at this address. I was like, oh shit, it's so close. Like,
it has to be Golden Sunrise.
You have to go with it. And now as you see, I was 2 years ago. Now I'm here helping him do this. And then more like the more time I spend with him, the more you're right. He's like, it's plugged in my head. But I'll tell you the premise when we get off because I think it's very unique, very similar to what you're telling me, but it's very unique. And it's basically like a modern day version of Half Baked. I'll say that much.
Nice.
A little bit like that. But no, dude, it's awesome. I actually like the fact that the way you tell a story, you're passionate about it. That you've been like, usually if you have somebody tells you an elevator pitch, they'll just tell you, this guy plays his stepbrother. He gets in jail, and the other guy has to get him out. And they swap. That's the movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, okay, cool. But then the way you describe it, it feels good to be like, all right, he knows where his story's going. He knows where it's all going. It's like, all right, let's see it. Let's see how he gets it. Let's see where. Because sometimes too, when I watch a movie nowadays, as a creative or filmmaker, or whatever, I'm like, how did you get that scene? It's only 5 seconds long, but how did you get permission? How did you? What happened? And then you find out, they faked it, or no, they really did get a judge to show up, and they're like,
right.
You start learning stuff like that.
Yeah, it is interesting to have the questions answered. People don't really do that a lot. Well, I guess they do, but you don't really see that very often, unless you're like doing like in the special features on a DVD or something like that. It's different. People do that with music all the time. You know, where you're like tell you how songs came together and shit like that. But it's really cool to hear the processes of like shooting a movie for sure.
Yeah. So good.
Okay. To wrap it up with our final question, who's your favorite director?
Ooh, favorite director. Favorite director. I gotta be careful, man.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, it is tough.
Yeah,
because I don't really. I mean, I know directors, right? But I don't.
You don't have a favorite one?
I like.
Well, can I ask this? What's your favorite movie?
That's hard too, but I really like 2001 Space Odyssey.
Okay.
That's your favorite movie?
It's one of them. I think I would say it's top 5.
Yeah.
I would say so. I like Big Daddy. Big Daddy's really cool, and my third would be Rush Hour 2.
The second one.
Yeah.
I like
love the first one, but I think Rush Hour 2
small action pack
takes the cake.
Kind of quicker pace.
I'm okay with 3, even with the boring parts in it. But if you
like 3.
If you take the boring parts of 3, it's good.
I like 3. Yeah, 3 is
good.
cool. Yeah, it's in Paris. You know what I'm saying?
The first one's good.
Got Growing Up Too Young.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I love that movie. Also, there's another movie that at the same time when Rush Hour came out called Money Talks. Chris Tucker and Charlie Sheen.
Oh, I forgot about Money Talks, man. Yes,
that's like the same character, but he's more. I don't know, just more of a different upbringing. But it's such a good movie.
Money Talks, I think, but damn, Money Talks is
Chris Tucker
good,
was
man.
in a role back then. Like, it's like a golden child. You can't lose.
Yeah, one of the fun facts I heard about him and just like regular talk is like he can fight. Because people would pick on him because he's skinny and then his voice, but then he knew how to fight, so they're like, "Oh, don't." But like even like that Space Odyssey, something that it's a sci-fi movie that you like. My favorite movie is an animation movie, and people always like, even when I tell people you're filming, they laugh at me and stuff. And I'm like, whatever, I don't care. Like it's 1986 Transformers the movie, the animation movie. I think it's just because it's everything. It's like there's loss, there's death, there's hero's journey, there's growth. There's change. There's working with new people, going from environments and changing. So I've looked at this a lot, but what that movie's helped me out a lot is it's death, because I was raised with a special needs aunt, and when she passed, and like I was like in 4th grade, but I was with her like all my upbringing. Like I just remember being like, I don't know what this is or whatever. And one of my aunts on my mom's side got me we were at Walmart and there's a bin, and she was like, I was looking at that movie like, I really want that movie. She goes, you want that movie? I'll get it for you. She bought it for me. I saw that movie like all day, and it kind of made me feel, because the main character dies in the beginning, and then the famous one, Optimus Prime, and then they don't bring him back. And the whole time I'm like, okay, it's okay to let it go. When your hero dies, it's okay. Mm-hmm. You'll find other heroes. There's still journeys to go. So to me as an adult, I still like, if someone passes away or something happens, I'll still watch that movie and it instantly gets me. So I can. Space Odyssey is a great detailed movie. It's an art piece.
I think my favorite thing is just it's always more to unpack from that movie. There's like some things aren't like blatantly explained in that movie. You know what I'm saying? They're not like it's not like laid out for you. You kind of have to like think it yourself. And there's still some things in that movie that I don't really get, to be honest. But I like that though. It makes me just want to keep watching it. They show it every year at the Paramount, and I bought the DVD, but I haven't even watched it at home, because in the theater is so crazy. Because like that movie goes from like super noisy, super loud, it cuts straight to silence. It's pretty crazy. And a lot of movies, Aliens, 2001 Space Odyssey, even Star Wars, like I love the insides of the ship. All the buttons and all the lights and like all that shit is just really cool to me.
I always say like, why can't I live in a galaxy far away and work part-time at the Enterprise? It's all nice. It's cool. But dude, Space Odyssey 2, I'm assuming because of AI, Hal's gonna be real famous. Either he's already super famous, now he's gonna get more famous. The AI.
Oh, Hal,
he's in that movie. That movie's from 1978.
Yeah.
So in 2024, Hal is like here.
Yeah,
AI is here. So I was like, hello, David.
And it's weird. They were like, he was like reading their lips when they were talking about disabling.
So I catch him.
Yeah.
And it was almost like, Hal had feelings, you know, because or it was just more like a logical thing where it's like, you said you're going to disable me, so I have to disable you.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and that's the thing Hal's a good point. I always bring up like in Skynet, Terminator. I don't think we can go back in time and this, I don't want to get too theory, but I think you can't go back in time because there's a certain point where Skynet would be like, I'm a computer. I didn't do my job to be a computer. I don't need to kill people. You know, it's like, I think there's a point because the AI, the awareness has to kick in. It has to. So I'm just going to be like, I have the keys, but I have no connection to this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
So this is programmed to do so, but
yeah. So I think that's the appeal of Stanley Kubrick films. Though he needed like a lot of clues for people to figure it out. All his films he had talked about. Besides 2001 Odyssey, he made the one with what's that movie about a bunch of kids going around causing rampage and then they have to clockwork orange. That's a strange one.
Is that one where kids have guns?
Kind of. It's like
a bunch of hooligans. They're going around raping people, killing people, and then they got brainwashed by the government. So the government hooked his eye up to like a VR system, and that was ahead of his time. Like VR, and showing like the most gory, nasty thing. Totally brain fucked him to where he couldn't even do anything bad.
Yeah.
Wow. I have to watch that, man.
Yeah.
I have this weird memory when I was a kid watching a movie or a show. I don't know what it was, but it was like young kids, and they were like super violent. They all cursed and they had guns. I still can't for the life of me.
It's not City of God.
There's a few of those.
It might be.
There's a movie called Kids, but that's from the 90s.
I've seen Kids.
Have you seen City of God?
I haven't seen City of God.
You haven't seen City of God?
No.
Dude, masterpiece. Dude, masterpiece.
I'll read the synopsis
you
for you real
watch
quick.
City of God, your life will change.
Dang.
The story,
City of God?
The story in there is really, really good.
It's really good. Very long.
Man.
Yeah.
It's rough. 2002. It's rough. In the slums of Rio, two kids' paths diverge as one struggles to become a photographer and the other a kingpin. But it's like, I mean, just look at the cover, dude. It's at this kind of like environment. So like the poster, it's like third world kind of feel. But do you ever see Lord of the Flies?
No, Lord of the Flies.
That to me, that's a horror movie. I think it's like 88 or somewhere in the early 90s. But basically, how it's a book, based on a book, but how kids would act strapped on an island, and how instantly they turn into like adults and they start like beating each other up, killing each other. Like it's rough, dude. Like I saw that in junior high, and I saw that right at a good point where I was like, okay, I hate kids because they can do this. Like it's like crazy. But then also, cause I also grew up on a movie called The Buttercream Gang, and that's just about a country kid that goes to the city. And they has to come back to this. Goes to the city, learns some things, comes back to the country. He's not the same kid. So you start learning like people change, your friends. But then you watch Lord of the Flies, and you're like, yeah, they're monsters.
Damn, City of God and Lord of the Flies.
I wouldn't recommend Lord of the Flies too much.
Oh yeah,
it's hardcore, bro. But City of God is because you watch it, but I'll watch any horror movie before I watch Lord of the Flies again. It's rough.
Damn, I sorry. I like Quentin Tarantino a lot, just because he's made a lot of cool movies.
He's definitely my favorite.
Yeah,
that's very cliche to say, but he is.
I know, and I feel like
he made Kill Bill, Pulp Fiction,
Django. That's what sealed the deal for me.
Once
to be
Upon
honest.
a Time in Hollywood.
That
was so funny. That's his funniest movie I've seen. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
That is, dude, Leo killed that shit.
Leo killed that shit. Brad Pitt was so funny.
Brad Pitt, the scene with him and the fake Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
That shit had me fucking so dying, bro. But he's like, it's called manslaughter or some shit.
And he's like a bad guy. He killed his wife.
Yeah.
She talked too much. He stole her.
No. Tarantino also, he's done genres. So he's done like a Death Proof. So he'll do horror. He's done the Western, what's called Seven, not Seven,
Magnificent Seven.
Magnificent Seven. Yeah, so
that's a good one.
Those are like
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I haven't seen the whole thing, but
I need
to check that out.
That one is slow burning though.
Oh yeah,
yeah, with Samuel Jackson. Magnificent. Was it Magnificent Seven? It's just
Or the Great Hateful Eight.
No, Hateful Eight.
That's with Samuel L. Jackson. Or
yeah, he's in that one.
It's the main star.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a western too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, where it was snowing, so he had to like go to a house where he's carrying like a fugitive, somebody that have a bounty. Yeah.
Man, yeah, there's some. Yeah, we could.
Yeah, I think it's a Hateful Eight.
I think so. I forget there's a few of those. Magnificent Seven is the other one. You're right. It's the one with Chris with Denzel Washington.
That's not the one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Hateful Eight is the one. Yeah. Man, it's like very similar. Quick and the Dead is a Western one by it's a Sam Raimi. The Evil Dead and those all those horror movies that he did. Dark Man and Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. So like I'm kind of a Sam Raimi guy, but it looks a B. But I love Ridley Scott. Stanley Kubrick movies are great. I'm a Kevin Smith guy, Kevin Smith fan. I started noticing like directors I liked just because it was just the movies they make. Tony Scott, Ridley Scott's brother, before he passed away.
Wow,
he made some good movies, man. They're action movies, all action movies. I mean, Wachowski, sister brothers, like The Matrix,
The Matrix,
dude, it's amazing. Well, on my first podcast I did like 3 years ago. Ty was my first guest, which episode 2, and he thought he just finished. I don't think he hadn't just seen the Matrix for the first time. But we had that Matrix conversation, and it's just like it's so great just to be able to like talk about a movie and then start applying it to your life. But it's a sci-fi futuristic movie, but you go apply it to your real life. It's crazy.
You're like about to eat a bowl of cereal. You take out a spoon. You're like,
I'm more like
there is no spoon.
I'm more like this. I'm like Sulfur. I'm at the Cypher. I'm at the restaurant. I'm like, man, there is no steak. I'm not paying for this. I'm gonna eat it.
Hell yeah, man. I love that shit. So there's the lady that claims that the Wachowski stole the Matrix idea from her because she wrote a book and sent them a screenplay that the Matrix is sort of like. So she claims that they stole. I
have not read this.
It's a weird thing. You should look into it. Yeah, you should look into that. One thing I did want to say, we were talking about just like movies that are kind of fucked up. I had never seen The Butterfly Effect before.
Okay.
And I watched it one morning when I was like really hungover.
With Ashton Kutcher?
Yeah.
Dude, that's a good film.
I thought it was pretty. I wasn't expecting it for it to be what it was. I thought it was going to be like an action movie or some shit like that. Shit started getting weird, man.
Yeah.
it's good, dude.
Yeah.
It's like psychologically, like, so everything he trying to go back in time, it end up fucking up, right?
Yeah.
Like there's no way he could get a perfect ending.
Yeah, they're the absolute points.
Yeah.
Is what they brought that up recently, the X-Men 97, but the absolute points where it's like no matter what, or like in the Time Traveler, he can never go back and save his wife. Time Machine, because there's a point where she's always going to die at this point. Same thing with the Butterfly Effect. There's always a point where you can't get out of it, and that movie gets real, like full circle, like life and death.
Yeah,
and because he can make a conscious decision as a spoiler, as a baby, but it's like that movie. The big guy in the movie, Ethan Suplee, the dude with the big guy. He's I interviewed him one time. When I interviewed him, I met him at a convention. And we talked about mental health, and I talked to him about that character, and I go, "How did you really get into that? Like, you went from like the Titans movie. What's it called? The one with Denzel Washington. Remember the Titans?
Yeah.
And you did this movie. Like, you're like a big old blue jolly guy.
That guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you go and play the emo dude. Like, what was that transition like? What was your? And he just said he let it come to him. Like, he was like just felt it. And he goes, yeah, because I was like, that guy had like school shooter vibes on. And I go, and before, like, it was like a real big thing. Like, where'd you get that from? He's like, I just felt the story, the script, and I went with it. And I was
that's the dude that's in Blow.
Yeah,
he's Tuna in Blow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The big guy.
Yeah.
So he's the Butterfly Effect. He's the roommate, or he's a recurring character, but he's the main roommate in the college, and he goes through like this hate scene that's real dark and gloomy. And I asked him about that. He just said that. He said that like I go, there was no school shooters or nothing like that back then. You had that vibe in that movie. He said he didn't really make it up. He said he just let the story kind of get him there.
That shit, honestly, bro, I couldn't even. I had to turn that shit off, man. Because not to say it was bad by any means, but dude, I think it's just cause older when you're hungover, when you're older, it's like way different. I don't really get fucked up like that. Like as
Are you hungover when you were watching it?
Yeah, it was like a movie. I was trying to watch like a feel good movie or something I can just put on and watch and make me feel better. That is not. No, yeah, it wasn't. And I thought it was just one of those movies that like the twist is just like, oh my God, this is so cool. Which it might still be that, but when he killed the dog, there's like a dog dying scene in that shit. I was like, I can't watch this right now.
I forgot about the dog dying scene. All I remember after watching that movie is like, damn, it definitely with a raw feeling.
Yeah,
there's like some like child porn in that shit too, man.
Yeah,
yeah, man.
It's kind of obvious but kind of hidden.
Oh yeah,
because you start getting deeper into where you're going, and then you find out that the dad, the likable guy. It's the dad that you thought he was protecting him the whole time. He was doing stuff with his daughter, and then you don't know, but you kind of have to figure it out.
Dude, that movie have layers.
It does, dude.
Yeah.
I think it's because Ashton Kutcher, and at the time, I think they were like making fun of him or whatever because he was just on that 70s show.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, this is such a good movie. Like when you brought it up, I was like, I know he's gonna talk good about it because certain people that only bring that movie, they don't crap on that movie. They only bring it up to talk good about it.
Same with Jim Carrey on Internal Sunshine.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Dude. You haven't seen that?
No.
That's a mindfuck movie.
Jim Carrey has
It's one of his best.
I just watched Me, Myself, and Irene for the first time.
Really?
Yeah.
I was a kid, I watched that over and over.
OP's funny.
The scene when like his penis got bigger, it's like, and he had like 3 black kids.
Yeah.
He's like,
and they're watching Chris Rock.
It's because my grandma's 1/8 Italian. But that's even beautiful.
It's almost like Fight Club.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like swing back and forth and stuff.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, why does it feel like I've been having sex all night? He pees and it goes this way. Like, I think that's that's not Coen. That's Farrelly Brothers, right?
I don't know. I'm not too sure.
So there's other set of brothers, Coen and Farrelly Brothers, that went through like from the 90s or the late 80s and 90s and 2000, where they made these movies that were slapstick comedies.
Yeah,
Raising Arizona was one of the first ones if you could go back that far. But they made some really good movies. Also, like oh my God!
Dude, we gotta give Jim Carrey his flowers.
Yeah,
he's an acting god.
Dude, I hadn't finished sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I hadn't finished the Truman Show until recently either.
That's a mindfuck too.
Yeah.
I don't have Matrix vibe.
Have you seen watch The Majestic? If you haven't seen it,
The Majestic. Is that Jim Carrey also?
Jim Carrey, dude.
I haven't seen
That's
that.
a good one.
What's that about?
He plays a soldier. Check this out. He plays a soldier and he loses his memories and he ends up, it's like in 1940s, 50s in the war, and he shows up on the coastal line of like Maine or something over there. Well, they find him and they think he's another guy that went to war, and he just takes his space and he starts living in his life. Starts living that guy's life. But it's a real movie. I don't want to ruin it too much, but it's a real movie where he goes through the character goes through this process of finding himself. Truman Show's good because you think you're watching a comedy and it's not a comedy.
Yeah, it's dark.
It's got elements of a comedy, but it's Jim Carrey. 23 is another one, which is like Eternal Spotless of Mine, but it's a horror movie. Jim Carrey's in.
Oh, when he's in that hotel room.
Yeah, where he's ready.
Dude, that's a good one.
That
one was scary for real.
Adam Sandler always has his movies, right? But he stays Adam Sandler. If you want to see Adam Sandler act outside Uncut Gems, that's perfect. We're not gonna talk about that one. But watch Punch Drunk Love.
Oh, I've heard good things about that.
That's an independent movie film of Adam Sandler. But you get the all that's out of the way. It's just him being like, it's not the it's more the hello, how are you doing? Like it's crazy. He pulled the characters out of him and left this one lovable character. Yeah. Because usually in Adam Sandler movies, I didn't notice this. I love him. I grew up watching all his movies, but you're like, he gets a girl out of his league. He would never, people always do that stuff. I'm like, that's a movie. So then he does a movie like Punch Drunk Love. And I don't even want to ruin it. It's an independent movie. It's great. It's him acting. There's a lot of people that you really get to like. Even I was watching, I was going through Tom Cruise's catalog, and I was like, he never really plays a villain. And then when I said that, Collateral came out.
Okay, nice. Jamie Foxx?
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
And then you realize you see Tom Cruise as a villain, and you're like, oh shit, he can go there.
Yeah.
He can be believable. So, I would say Fight Club. Do you consider Brad Pitt a villain in that movie? Even though he's a selfie?
He's like a cool ass villain. He was a villain for sure, because he's the main guy that Edward Norton had to defeat.
Yeah, because Edward Norton
blew that part of his brain out.
So I've been tripping on that part a lot, because I was a kid when I saw that movie. I watched it so many times, but as an adult, you start watching them, you start learning things. But what he says, and this is for everybody as we finish this podcast, he says something there that really I was like, why does he say that? But it's because it's part of the movie. But he says he's trying to get his life back. At the end, he's getting it all together. And he goes, Tyler doesn't have the gun in his hand. I have the gun in my hand. And he picks up and he has the gun. And Tyler's like, whoa, wait a minute. because Tyler knows what he's going to do before he's going to do it.
Yeah.
So he knows that all he has to do is pull the trigger and Tyler goes away. So talk about a mental health or having issues, like they put that, but you have to kind of pick up on this. They don't tell you until you get to the very end, right?
Yeah.
But I'm always wondering, I'm like, is he really a villain? Because you only get to know that the Edward Norton character is the narrator. That's his name. So he's just taking you through the story. Or is he the protagonist? Is he trying to come out? Because the narrator is not doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at it as Tyler Durden is actually like a good guy. He's just saw the opportunity. He's taking it. But once the narrator realizes it's my life and he takes the power back, that movie just gets better for me. Like as an adult too, watching that, being like, even like we're talking about work, talking about jobs, it's kind of like at a certain point you're like, why am I? And I think this is what the Gen Zs are a lot about. Like, why am I going to work for you where you're going to get 99% of everything?
Right.
I'm going to get 1% back, and I'm going to break my body, lose my time. Like,
mm-hmm.
You're not going to come back and what this.
Dude, Brad Pitt is like the Gen Z in that movie. Millennial, sick of his life.
Dude, perfect way. Dude, that's awesome, man. That's a good way. You're right to see it. Yeah. You're absolutely right. Because
that's a crazy movie.
Yeah, dude, it's a good movie. I mean, everything from it. It'll. If you watch that movie and you've been sheltered, you might go woke.
Mm-hmm.
But if you watch that movie and you start to live life and you look at it, you're like, oh, this is like a signs, or this is like where does this story come from? And it really does really see like it's the
thing that struck a nerve in everybody that watched it.
It's from the class of 1999.
Yeah.
Do y'all know about this? The class of 1999? Like almost every movie that came out in theaters in 1999 was like a hit. Was a classic. So there's a book that they made on it. I bought it, and it's a long time ago. But you'll start finding out what movies that were, and when you go back and you're like, oh, these are really good movies. They're like from beginning to end. They're just any genre that came out around that time that they're like. I don't really want to say any studios, but I know that it was just kind of like you watch a Brad Pitt movie, you can watch like a Jeff Bridges movie. You can watch Michelle Pfeiffer, Dan Keaton, any movies that they kind of were in. Like
did Home Alone drop in 99?
Nah, 92. I don't even caught on, brother, but I'm 40, so it's like I'm older. So I was 90. But I think, you love Home Alone?
Yeah, I love Home Alone.
Dude, which is your 1, 2, 3? Which is your favorite?
2. I gotta go with 2.
Yeah. My kid, he's 6, but we started showing him Home Alone when he's like 2 or 3. And then I remember him being like, we put 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then finally we asked him, hey, you stopped watching 3. What? Man, Kevin's not in it.
I think 3 is severely underrated. I think so.
Because Kevin's not in it.
Yeah,
I think you're right. I think it's goofy.
It's Max Keeble. Alex D. Lenz. I think
I've never seen
he's
3.
the king.
It's
Dude, 3 is good.
Goofy.
Yeah.
It's goofy. It's also too. You have Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern as the villains that have returned in 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah?
They make that other half of you. They make you love Kevin McAllister. They make you love him because they are just like, even Daniel Stern. He's a lovable idiot, like villain, but you don't want to be a villain. And then you have the Joe.
I don't even think he wants to be.
Yeah, he's just doing what right? So Joe Pesci's kind of like the mastermind, the guy that's gonna make all the moves, but it never works out for them because apparently Kevin McAllister is Jigsaw from when he grows up because he knows all these like Bluebeard trips and all this stuff. But those are the movies like I really like enjoy. Even like I'm bringing this one only because you hear like Soul Plane. You watch stuff like that, and it's just like even Norbit. Like I love Norbit.
I love Norbit, man.
And it's more of a plug and play movie that I don't have to sit down and just watch it and love everything. Because there are little parts that I love Norbit that I'm like, oh, I have to watch this. But then there's some parts where I'm like, it's okay. But even like Cat Williams and Eddie Griffin, they play pimps.
Yeah,
like it's like, is Cat Williams even acting at this point?
Yeah,
it's so fun to just watch Eddie Murphy get to play other characters again. I mean, he plays the dad, Rasusa, and the Norbit.
And
the dad, the Asian guy, like, that's crazy, dude. That Eddie Murphy plays these roles, and he's like, when you're a kid, you watch watch those movies, you're like, oh, you're okay. But then you get older and you realize, oh shit, I really thought that was like in Coming to America. He plays like the old white guy, old Jewish guy in the barbershop.
Yeah,
and though I watched the movie until I was like 10, until they said Eddie. I didn't watch any credits where you see Eddie Murphy. They finally saw it. I told my cousin, that's Eddie Murphy. He's like, oh, he's wearing makeup. I was like, oh crap! But dude, Eddie Murphy, underrated actor.
Nutty Professor.
1 and 2 is good. All the Beverly Hills Cop movies, I figured out why they're so good because he's so young in those movies, like 21, and he'd be so mature about it, but he's so confident the way he talks.
Yeah.
So it really does get me to think like this 21-year-old, like black kid is coming out in these movies and stealing your attention.
Yeah,
so but you have to do that. I mean, Raw and Delirious.
Yeah,
I didn't watch those until I was a junior in high school, and I have a whole experience about when I watched those because I watched them with two of my classmates that were a grade older than me, but they invited me to hang out, and we're just chilling, and they're like, "You like stand up?" I go, "Yeah, I like stand up." "You want to watch Eddie Murphy?" I go, "Yeah." And they showed me Raw, and I saw it. They actually liked watching me laughing. They were watching me because they seen it so much. It was George Avalos and Johnny Joy Sanchez. You guys a shout out
but
to them. They were watching, but then they saw me laugh so much and having such a good time because I'm the guy I immerse. I forget everything else. That when I was getting up to leave, they go, "You like that?" I go, "Yeah." "You want to watch some more?"
Yeah.
I go, "Well, what do you mean more?" "He made another one. It's called Delirious."
Yeah.
I stayed at this guy's house for like 5 hours just watching it, and it's always embedded in my head. All those jokes. So I got older, started doing research, and I realized he's 21.
Yeah.
At that time, I was like 17. I was only 4 years older than me at the time.
Right.
And it's just like, whoa. It really does when you start connecting the dots for why you like movies and where they come from, and you can start connecting to yourself. You really start looking at like me writing stand-up jokes. I never thought I was gonna write these jokes I was writing, but I'm like, oh, that's me.
Yeah.
I didn't know where that came from. That's me. But you start learning it, and Ty's been putting me around a lot of other filmmakers and just motivated me. Like,
yeah,
it's like I want to rage quit so bad.
Dude, watching Adam Sandler movies now, they just like, I guess not even now, just as an adult, kind of inspired me because it just looks like he's making movies with his friends.
Yeah,
that is true. He made movies with his friends.
Yeah. That's like kind of like where I drew the inspiration from. That's how I want my movies to feel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's these guys again.
Yeah.
And
he did put Rob Schneider on the map. Like, giving him role.
Dude, that's one of my favorite actors, to be honest with you.
Rob Schneider?
He has some range, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think he's kind of slept on.
What's that
he's
movie
an
where
asshole, though.
He turned to a woman?
The hot chick?
The hot chick. Dude.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's my favorite. Anna Faris, the way she looks. Anna Faris, that movie is just beautiful. Like, and that movie, I'm like, man, she's so awesome in that one. But Rob Schneider went to watch him live a couple years ago, and he'll tell you, he's like, Sandler hasn't called me. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
And it's funny. He goes, it's funny because you're like, that's believable, but whatever. It's Rob Schneider.
Yeah.
Dude, I love it. I didn't wait tables on David Spade, but I was with somebody that waited David tables. I was like helping assistant.
Yeah.
And the steakhouse, David Spade, like even him, like just having that like the energy, that Sandler like energy. We brought him up. He's like, oh, because I'm not who you thought I was. Adam Sandler, so I'm not getting the treatment.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh man, they know. Like everybody knows. Like his own people know that they go this way.
I went to go see David Spade at the Paramount not too long ago.
How was that?
It was cool. I don't think that like the jokes were like hitting. He was just being David Spade, and that's what was funny.
Yeah.
But the jokes themselves, I don't think were that powerful. I think it was just his like the way he is. He's just a funny guy.
Yeah.
But he was in the movie with Rob Schneider, Benchwarmers.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Benchwarmers was dope, and Rob Schneider is in Home Alone 2. He's like one of like the
usher, the
one of the bellboys or whatever. But my favorite Rob Schneider performance would have to be either on 50 First Dates or on Big Daddy. Yeah,
what are you doing?
Yeah.
What's the other one? You said 50 First Dates and which one?
50 First Dates and Big Daddy.
Oh,
he's like the delivery guy. You gave him easy ones.
You pop another this. Hey, it's a lamb and tuna fish. I have to marry with spaghetti and meatballs.
They get that little like feud in court. Steve Buscemi was really good in that movie too. I didn't this is like I seen Big Daddy when I was a kid, so I hadn't seen like Reservoir Dogs and like you know what I'm saying, like man.
We'll end it. I guess we're getting to the end already.
Yeah,
we'll end it with unappreciated people, and that's one of Steve Buscemi, dude.
Yeah,
he's got a lot of independent films. I just saw a few of them the other day, and I was like, he's just always acting. He even started a little bit later in life, like maybe a little bit. Like he started young, but he didn't really get recognized until like 36, 40.
He's in Boardwalk Empire. He had a big role in there. He's one of the main characters.
He's so great. He's
probably the main character. Boardwalk Empire.
And he's all calm, and he's also not Steve Buscemi that we used to. He's just like killer. Like it's insane. I haven't seen the whole thing, but the scenes I've seen with him, always like a death scene, and I'm like, he's all calm. But those people, you're right, and that is come to a thing where I would prefer to make movies with my friend, or at least the people that I care about that make movies, that care about movies, because it shows.
Yeah.
It shows when you put the time in, you put the effort in, and if you're around people that you know you can trust, and you're around people that you know they're not gonna let you down, the sky's the limit. It's finding that trust. It's fine because honestly, I'll tell you this: as a filmmaker, and I've been filming since I was a kid, I just realized when I got to like director's status for myself, there's a point where once that camera comes out, like the cameras are different nowadays, but back then there was these big things with reels on them.
Yeah.
And once these cameras came out, people on set just changed. People just, I'm better already. I'm on, and now like feel with these camera phones, whatever. People kind of feel like the younger generation kind of do, but like more people my age or older, I remember they're being like, "Oh, that's not a real camera." I'm like, sure, it's whatever. Like, it's the end result. We're not looking at the camera. It's how we got here. We don't care that the boat was big or small, just got us there safely, you know?
Exactly.
You know, that's what I'm looking at is. But yeah, dude, I think once that camera, so you need to know that when you have your set, you know, your people that are going to be like, okay, that camera doesn't bother them, or they don't get in the way for you to say.
No, I'm gonna say that's when you know who's a hoe when you put the camera on there and it starts dripping.
Yeah. There you go.
His face was waiting. I was like,
He was itching. He was like, oh, I gotta get this off.
Okay, let's wrap this up. Definitely, we can talk forever about movies.
Yeah.
So where can they find you on social media, Shelly Knicks?
You can follow me at Shelly Knicks on Instagram, SHELLYKNICKS. And Twitter, I definitely say a lot of risky stuff on there. So you can follow me on Shelly Knicks on Twitter at Shelly Knicks TV.
That's why I say risky stuff too. What about your music?
You can just Google Shelly Knicks. It's everywhere. Last album was called I forgot I dropped an EP. Last EP was called Unprovoked. Listen to that. Listen to Swim Camp. Listen to Love Space Connection. All that shit.
All right. Well, thank you for taking your time to do the podcast.
Yeah, man, it's so fun, man. I couldn't wait to talk with you guys.
Appreciate it.
All right, we're out.
All right. It's a wrap.
Peace.
Peace out.